This is the voice of freedom. We are not one voice. We are many. We are your voice. But we can only be effective if you use your voice. Your voice. This is the voice of freedom. We will not hide from the truth. We will ask the hard questions until we are sure we have the truth. Welcome to the voice of freedom, where your voice will never be silenced.
There you go, folks. Fingers crossed, you've got some noise this time. We've had to revert to plan A. Yep, beautiful. Sounds working. You might want to turn that down. Thanks, Bradford. So plan A is working. Well, plan A isn't working. Plan B has come into effect, which is simply back to the laptop, which makes doing the pan to introduce the lovely Cass Smith from, well, hang on, I want to get it right. Holistic Financial Solutions. Now, everybody knows Cass, and if you haven't met Cass yet, you're here tonight because somebody has told you have to hear what Cass has to say. So thanks for joining us. Hey? Yeah, thanks for having us in your boardroom, supplying, as you've found, the Galactic Larrikins with wine.
Yes, and myself.
And your wine. Well, it is that time of the evening. We're running a bit late. So, yeah, thanks for hosting us in your boardroom. So, Cass, it must have been a pretty busy time. You and I have had a couple of chats beforehand. I know a phenomenal amount of people have contacted you through the Voice of Freedom and other areas to see what they can do about their self-managed super funds or to see how they can create one. How's the experience been for you, both as a business, as personally? It must be very gratifying to be able to help people like this.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And that's what I say to a lot of people that I speak to. This is not a job. It's not a business. It's a mission.
Yeah.
And I have taken on more and more and more staff to cope with the workload. We did suffer some backlog due to the volume that I never expected. But now I've taken on literally 10 staff, all from the Freedom Movement.
Great. So they're all awake? They all know what's going on?
Yep. That was our backlog, actually. We had someone that wasn't awake, and he created a lot of hassle. Gone, and now it's only people from the Freedom Movement that we take on, and I'm just taking on more and more and more and more and more people. We've got the systems, we've got the procedures, we'll just keep rolling it out. And we all feel the same way. We get goosebumps when we talk about the mission. This isn't a business, it's a mission.
That's great.
And the mission is to get people out of the financial system and take control.
So there are probably people watching tonight who hear the words financial system and don't really know. Oh, yeah, okay, I know I've got money and notes and coins and, you know, there's a bank. Well, there used to be a bank on the corner until they closed it, and now there's not, and I've got to drive 50 kilometres or 60 kilometres to use a bank. When you say you want to get people out of the financial system, what does that really mean? Can you define it?
We're mainly at the moment working on the superannuation system, which we'll no doubt discuss in detail.
Yeah.
But we're also looking at the banking systems, the property systems, just getting people prepared, because I think a lot of the awake people know we are heading for, my opinion only, none of this is financial advice, but we are heading for, I believe, the biggest crash in human history.
Yeah. Yeah,
and the last time the system really crashed back in the 1930s, it was an 80 to 90% crash on the share market. So if this is going to be the biggest one, that's huge.
Yeah.
And we are seeing signs of it all over the world. Everywhere you look, there's already a lot of countries that have completely collapsed.
Yes.
But nobody cares. They're third world. They go, oh, well, I shouldn't say I don't care. I care.
Yeah.
But a lot of people just go, oh, well, that's third world. That
doesn't affect me. Doesn't affect me.
So UK is on the brink of collapse.
That's going to start affecting people.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, big time.
Absolutely.
And I think further out from UK, there are big influences at the moment in America trying to prop the dollar up. I'm told,
Absolutely.
you know, there is a huge and I don't understand how the market works. So once again, not financial advice, folks. I'm the last person you want to take financial advice from. But my understanding is that there is a lot of movement going on in the background of the markets, particularly in something called the COMEX market. So there is some magicking that they do in that market, apparently, that is going to bring them undone.
Yeah,
So
it all seems like there's just a lot of magic going on. So when the UK, the Bank of England almost collapsed. Was it last week or last week, the week before? The Bank of England almost collapsed. That is huge.
it is huge. They had to open the king's coffers
Yeah.
for the first time in something like 300 years.
Yeah.
And that's what it's called, folks. The king's, well, it was until recently the Queen's coffers. But that's its real name, the king's coffers. And that's where they keep the billions that the Windsors own. So that money is ostensibly propping up the pound at the moment.
And also I asked, I've been trying to read up on it and understand, but every time, I mean, I've been in the financial world for 30 years, but I read what they say they're doing to save the UK system, and even my mind swims. At the end of the day, they're printing money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Printing money just like they've done since this pandemic started. They've printed, Australia has printed $1 trillion. Last time I checked, US was up to about $10 trillion.
Can you explain why that's a bad thing? Because there'll be plenty of people sitting there to say, oh, well, if they can print money, then what's the problem? We can just print the money, get out of debt.
So it creates inflation.
Yeah.
And that's what we're seeing. Everybody's seeing the price of fuel, the price of goods, the price of energy. One of my staff members upstairs is from the UK, and I spoke to her today while she curled my hair.
Beautiful hair. Washed twice in 2 days.
Yes, and curled.
And curled.
Yeah, she was saying that the price of energy has gone up by 60% in the UK. So this is coming directly from someone who knows what's happening over there, from her family. Price of energy, 60% up. What families are doing, even families that don't live together, are coming and meeting at one particular family member's house and sitting in one room, like the lounge room, and heating it.
Wow.
So that they can stay warm. This is the UK. This isn't third world.
Wow.
This is the UK. So this is an indication of what's coming and how quick it is coming.
Are people waking up in the UK?
I believe so.
So they're starting to be shaken awake.
Yeah, because I think our favourite Ricardo has that great analogy where he talks about people on the different levels of the colours, and the particular colour, I can't remember whether it's green or blue, I think it's the blue, that they won't wake up until it hits them in the face and it affects them.
Yeah.
So in the UK, it is now directly affecting the people.
Do you think Australians suffer from that same mentality? Can't be bothered with it until it affects me. And are you expecting a higher rush then when the market goes tits up and people think, oh, where's my super going?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like obviously the people in the freedom movement, we're well and truly awake. We know what's coming, but more and more people are now starting to go, hang on. What's happening at the petrol pump? What's happening at the grocery store? Why is my bill doubled to feed my family? And when our energy prices start going up and our petrol's going to go up significantly in the next few weeks, hopefully Australians will start waking up.
Let's get on to super. So there are a variety of people that I've met since my admission in one of my shows about how little super I have. I've been contacted by one lady who said, why don't we all join together? Because I've only got a little bit too. And I said, oh, I don't know you. You don't know me. Do we trust each other? How does all this work? How many more people can we put into this? Does it really happen? Where's Cass? That was literally how the process worked, in thought pattern. So is it possible, if you have a small amount of super or you want to band together with others, that small group you're keeping warm with around the radiator in England, is it possible to band together somehow?
Yeah, so I'll explain some of the basics. Self-managed super fund is basically you manage your own super.
Right.
As simple as that.
That sounds really worrisome for me because I'm useless at managing, big money, so to speak.
So I'll clarify that. You manage the investment choice, which what everybody's doing is gold and silver.
Yep.
So that's quite easy. You go and buy it. It's literally internet banking.
I can manage that.
Online shopping. Our team or other accountants, any accountant that is awake and is doing this, can also do it for you. So we simply do all the complex work that needs to be done to satisfy the government. Most of our SMSFs are husband and wife, partners, or husband and wife and adult children, or siblings, brothers and sisters, or close friends.
Yep.
But now it is opening up to what you're saying, where people are coming together, a few people with smaller balances joining together.
Is that a benefit? What is the benefit in doing that?
Just coming together and saving fees, because if you've got less than 100,000 or so, the fees are really high in an SMSF.
Okay.
And once you get to a balance of about 200,000, the fees become quite equivalent to
Okay.
normal super.
Right.
But under 100, the fees are quite excessive. But if 2 people join together and make 200, or 3 people, 4 people come together to make 200, the fees are equivalent, and it's really worth doing.
Okay.
In my opinion, not financial advice.
So that doesn't mean that the investment, when it's all clumped together, goes off and, well, I suppose that's exactly what it means. It goes off as a single investment package, and that's what grows, and then you all get your share out of that
Absolutely.
at the appropriate time. If you were a husband and wife who collectively had $75,000 in super, because you've both worked for yourselves or worked on a farm or whatever, you've never been able to accumulate it for a variety of reasons. How do you then maybe do you need to qualify the people that you'd like to join together with? I mean, or is it there's something that you can join together?
You would want to have some level of trust with them. You're not blending your money with them in terms of losing track of it. We always know what your super is, what the other people's super is, but you will be making joint investment decisions.
Okay.
Like, should you buy gold? Should you buy silver? Should you do Bitcoin? So you do want a good level of trust and understanding.
You mentioned Bitcoin. Is that I'm going to say a serious investment strategy? I know it's serious because last time I had a look, it was $31,000 or something a coin. I know that's down on what it has been for a while. I think it was up at 85 or something at one stage. But is that a strategy? Bitcoin a strategy?
SMSFs can do Bitcoin. I'm not absolutely a favour of Bitcoin. I do believe it's just another electronic system that can be crashed. But the exciting news I mentioned, at the moment we're doing superannuation mainly, but we are also looking at banking systems, alternative reserves, and there are some other reserves that are coming through backed by gold that are really may be exciting in the very near future. And yes, SMSFs can do that.
So this might be something that I would like to talk to you about further because Spiros, the gentleman who's put together the council's idea through Victoria and the People's Trust idea, has also let me know that anybody can start a bank. Anybody, as long as you back your product in gold.
Yes.
He suggested that anybody who wanted to help us create a bank, and I've had a genuine offer of $200,000 to start this off. I'm just too shit scared to touch it because I don't know what to do. I'm not a banker, but maybe this is a conversation we need to have with Spiros as well, because I've had more people offer that. Folks, if this is something you're interested in, it's a very interesting concept. Go back and watch the show from the Sunshine Coast that I did with Spiros, where he mentions how it works there, if you don't know what we're talking about. But yes, you could start a people's bank backed in gold.
And there are already people doing it, and I can release details on that very, very soon.
So we're behind the game.
Because we need to prepare for the day that maybe we're locked out of the banking system.
Yeah, yeah.
And what I want, another one of my missions is that the day that happens, we ought to go,
so what? What a great strategy. Love that plan.
Yeah, and really want to work on that to bring that to fruition really, really quickly. And people I was talking to today, it's just amazing how, as dire as the situation out there may seem, we are creating a new world. Yeah,
yeah, and it's a blank slate. We have to start somewhere. People might say, "Oh, well, if you're starting somewhere, it's okay to make a few mistakes. Make it with somebody else's super, not mine." But this is where the genius of metals comes in, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's a physical asset. So it's something you said on one day, but need to correct you on that, Carl. You can store the physical metals in your own house.
Oh, can you?
Yes.
Oh, wow. I thought that you had to over a certain...
No, have it in your own house. And that's the number one message I say to people. The only safe thing, in my opinion, not financial advice, is to have a physical asset, so be it property, land, or gold and silver that you hold in your own house, in your own safe, and you protect it. That way, whatever happens, an internet meltdown, a cyber attack, a solar flare, whatever happens, it's in your house under your protection.
I'm just digging into my wallet here. I know that sounds, impressive, but I'm digging, just to emphasize your point, folks, if you're going to buy a lot of gold and silver, you've got to learn how to protect it. I carry mine with me. And that's actually quite a special coin,
Yeah.
if you have a look at it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a Trump coin,
Yeah, excellent.
which a supporter gave me at Singleton when we came down to do the live there with Ricardo.
So that is the point. You can
take it with you.
In a self-managed super fund, you can store the metals at home and keep it safe. So no matter what happens, it's in your own house.
So keeping it at home, keeping it safe is your responsibility.
Yes.
That means you set up the security, you make sure you know where you left it, and you don't forget the password or the
Yes.
combination to the safe, right?
One tip on that I can say is in your will, and hopefully most people listening have got a will. If not, please get one. We can do them for people as well. On my will, I've got a little addendum that actually says this is where things are stored. This is the password to the safe.
Right, yeah.
If you've buried it in your back garden, this is where I've buried it.
Yep.
Really important.
And somebody once said to me, "Oh, gee, why don't we start up a website or at least give people ideas of how they could store their gold and silver safely?"
I've got so many ideas. I wake up at night thinking about these things.
And I said, well, that'd be a great thing to do. But if we start putting it on the interwebs and everybody knows, under your pot plant or, somewhere under your front mat, or you stick it in a watering sprinkler on your roof or whatever the hell, where do you think the thieves are going to go looking?
Yeah, you've really got to think about your own house design, your own layout, where there are little nooks and crannies that you can possibly put something. And bearing in mind that $100,000 worth of gold may only be this big.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah.
So you can get a nice little safe and adhere it under a bed frame, under a pull-out drawer, in the bathroom, like so many different places you can put that, and still drill it in to the wall. So even if someone does find it, they can't pull it off anyway.
Can you insure it? Is it insured if you've got it in your own possession?
It can be insured, but it's extremely expensive. So most people use the safe and even a security system, cameras, etc., as the insurance.
That's
rather than
wise.
paying for it.
Yeah, that's absolutely wise. So, what's the advantage of leaving your super in super at the moment?
Do I have to answer that?
No, you don't. I think you did.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to get that across to people who have, who are of a certain age, whose super is nearly within reach. I'd say probably just a fraction older than me. People who are not going to be very hugely wealthy when their super comes through, but it'll pay out any loans that they've got, or if they don't own their house yet, that'll be sorted. Might allow them to buy a caravan and a four-wheel drive and go and trek around the country for a bit, and then settle somewhere. Various different levels, but they're very close to it now, and they've trusted the super system all their life. Well, as long as not all their life, it's only been going for 30 years or so, compulsory super. But what is the best argument you can give for people who might be sitting on the fence at the moment?
Absolutely fantastic question. In the GFC, when the market crashed by 50%, or 40 to 50% in a matter of weeks, the only real people that affected at the time were those that were nearing retirement.
Yeah, right.
Because they had banked on this money to retire on, and then they woke up one day and it was 50% down.
Yeah.
A lot of those
Well, g'day.
So I explained to Carl that we have really good, really secure internet in this building. We're in live streaming from my own office, and we have really, really good internet. And lo and behold, they took it out.
So there you go. That's a bit of fun, isn't it, folks? Regular viewers will know that that's just par for the course on this show. So thanks, Cass.
So I think we might have missed a bit there, but I can't remember exactly.
I'm not sure where we got up to, where it all fell out. So
it's really important.
Yeah, if somebody got a point where we were up to, because we were just trying to reconnect and we've lost our train of thought. So normal for Carl. Thanks, Wendy. That's good on you. Love your work.
Yeah, so I think we were talking about, I know where we're talking about, the GFC and how important it is for the older generation that are nearing retirement. I know they're cautious. It's all they've got.
Yes.
But it's even more important because in the GFC, it was that age bracket that were entering retirement that all of a sudden they woke up and 50% of their super was gone.
Yep.
So, and it took 10 years to recover. So a lot of those people went back to work till they were 75.
Yep.
This crash, they say, is going to be bigger than the GFC and take 20 to 30 years to recovery. So even people in their 40s thinking about, their super when they want to retire at 65, they've got to do something about it to protect it from this crash.
For the first time in this show's history, we have one person in the audience. Her name is Margaret, and she raised an interesting point before, that young people who are being put into super or encouraged into certain super funds when they get their first jobs are either not allowed or are being discouraged from actively looking at self-managed super funds.
Yes,
is there a way of stopping, or is that?
It's your choice, and you're just like, my body, my choice, my super, my choice.
Yep.
So, and not only that, if people talk to a lot of accountants and financial planners at the moment, they will be told, don't do it.
Yes.
The accountants are saying, no, too complicated, too blah, blah, blah. Financial planners, and I this is where I start getting myself into trouble. Financial planners will actively discourage it because the financial planners want your money in the share market because that's how they get paid.
Yes, they get a fee, don't they?
Yeah.
An ongoing fee.
Yeah.
Everyone they lose. I'm happy to say it. You don't have to.
Can say it.
I can say it because that's how it works. So if you've got a broker, he gets a fee. He gets a fee for the term of the contract that you've signed or he helped facilitate you sign. Now, if that works exactly the same way in the super field. So if that bloke who's been patting you on the back and smiling at you since you were 18 years of age and you've grown up together and had barbecues and gone to the footy match and all that that's absolutely, he wants to keep you as a friend because you are paying him every month.
Yeah.
So that's how that works. They're going to actively discourage you. They're going to say, oh, it's scary. Oh, it's a bit weird. Oh, there's magic there. Who knows? What if somebody robs you? I reckon that's going to be one of the big ones that we hear because I hear that a lot. What if somebody's going to rob you? Well, if somebody's going to rob you, they're going to take your television. They're going to take, the VCR. Oh, VCR, I'm showing my age now. God. They're going to take your iPod or your iPhone. No, they're not going to take anything with an eye in front of it because it can be tracked and it's all useless. They're not going to take 60 tons of silver or 60 kilos of silver, not quietly and not easily.
Yeah, absolutely right. And funny that about the friendship with the financial planners, I've had quite a few clients, even just today, say, oh, but he's a really good friend of mine.
Yes.
I'm like, I didn't say anything because that would be not wrong for me to say, but I can say here that I felt like saying they're your friend for a reason.
Yeah.
They're your friend because they're charging you every single month.
Yeah, that's the reason I just outlined. Yeah,
commission from your money. And the moment you tell them that you want it out, of course they're going to talk you out of it.
Yeah. It's going to make a direct impact on their pocket. So, you don't need that. There are a lot of other things that you can invest in a self-managed super fund. I personally have a few friends who like cars. Are cars a good super investment?
I would say no, but I'm not a fan of cars.
Right.
But I have had that question. Well, I've got a Mustang.
Yeah. Round of applause, I think. Round of applause, yes.
But having said that, I have had that question from other clients, so I did research it. And yes, a super fund can invest in classic cars. The complication comes is that you're not allowed to use a super fund investment for anything personal. So when it comes to the car, you're not allowed to drive it at all.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, you're not even really meant to store it at your own house. It's got to be in like a secure storage facility. So
Could you call that secure storage facility a museum?
Yeah, absolutely.
Where the car is on display but
Yeah.
not being driven.
Yeah, so people are doing that sort of thing. Because back before that question, people have done antiques and artwork.
Yes, I was
in
going to ask about
SMSF.
art. Yeah.
But same rules apply. You can't have it like a big picture on your wall because that's personal enjoyment. It's got to be stored in a facility, not personally enjoyed.
Yep. Okay, that makes perfect sense. What haven't I asked you that you want to tell the people about self-managed super funds? Because I don't know what I don't know.
Yeah. So the catch cry is that we say is that self-managed super fund made simple. A lot of people say they're really complicated, but that's our job.
Yeah.
To do all the complication. It's your job simply to choose your investments and just have some good common sense around the super fund. You can't spend anything for personal use.
Yep.
And you have to retain all your records and you have to report to the government as much as we don't like that.
Mm-hmm.
You have to, but we do all of that for you. Your job is just to keep the money safe. That's one thing. The other thing I wanted also to say is Holistic Financial Solutions is my baby company. My baby. It's of 22 years, I think.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Founder, CEO. I have stepped down, and we have set up a new company called Freedom Financial Solutions.
Wow. Okay.
And I was driving home from work one day, just going, everything I've ever done in my life is holistic. What am I going to call a new company? And then Freedom Financial Solutions came to me, which the acronym is FFS.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I love it. That's great.
So, and the main reason for that is the same reason doctors are stepping down and handing back their licenses. Freedom Financial Solutions is basically so I can say whatever I want.
Yep.
And it's all on me.
Yep.
It's not on Holistic. So Holistic will continue to exist and a fantastic company. And after we've set up an SMSF for a client, we hand them to the accounting with WFS.
Yeah.
But everything I'm doing and saying is under Freedom Financial Solutions.
So correct me if I was wrong, but you were a financial planner at some stage. You've done the training.
Years.
Yeah.
20 years.
And you've backed out of that so that you can do this properly and without.
Gave up my license when COVID first started because I saw the truth. I saw the writing on the wall and I wanted to be able to, like I had clients coming to me and as a financial planner, I had to encourage them into the share market. And I had clients coming to me and saying, I've just had an inheritance of $500,000. Should I put it in the share market? And I'm going, And then I said, nah, stuff this. So I handed back my license so that I can, when those clients come, I'm very, very cautious. If clients really want the share market, I'm not going to.
No.
Like normal clients that maybe not seeing what's really going on, I think you know what I'm saying. If they come to me and they want the share market, we do have a financial planning team and I will handball them to the financial planning team.
Yep. Okay.
In WFS, in the holistic group.
Yep.
If the clients come out of the freedom movement and go, Catherine, tell me the truth about what's really going on, then I speak my truth, and I couldn't do that whilst I held a financial planning license.
Right. So a lady you can trust, folks. Sounds to me. Anybody who's going to walk away from a 20-year career just so she can help you not get caught.
And walk away from my baby.
Yeah. Well, that's probably the biggest thing of all for you, I guess, isn't it? Will you maintain a position on the board in any way or anything like that?
No, I've stepped away to keep the company safe.
Completely isolated.
Yeah, I'll be doing my own thing, and if they want to take me down, they can take me down, but not my company, but my old company. But I can see myself at the age of 90 still tinkering into the offices of Holistic and saying, how's it going, everybody? Because they're great people. Absolutely love them. Fantastic accounting firm. They're still my.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm still completely involved. So people are getting worried. Oh, what about Holistic? I'm still there. I'm still guiding them and teaching them and growing them. I'm just not being paid by them and not in any way connected in such a way that they can come after the company.
Yeah, that's great. And it's smart. Very smart indeed. What other freedoms is it going to give you? Will we see you stepping out wider afield, giving more advice in more places?
So, yeah, as I said, superannuation is our key focus at the moment. But as soon as my team's all trained up to handle that without me, we're looking at property trust, communities, bringing people together to buy land, because that's a huge way that we need to go forward.
Yeah, well, I'm actually talking to some people in Queensland. If you've got land and you're prepared to do deals and put people on that land in very, very good housing that's very affordable, not cheap housing, but affordable housing, great housing, might be pyramids involved, then you need to send an email to Cherie at vofhq.com, and we'll link up with Wendy, who's up on the Sunshine Coast, and we'll see if we can put you together. There is a great movement to do with the housing happening up there at the moment.
We'll talk more about that, Carl, because I'm doing a similar thing, just helping people come together to buy land, even if they haven't need to buy land. 20 to 30 people into a trust, buy the land together, go and put tiny homes on there and live there, because we really need to come together as communities. And that's what I mean. The day then we all get locked out of the system, we all just go, so what? Yeah, we can come around my place for a barbecue. Yeah, we've got our own food, we've got our own banking, we've got our own everything. We've created our own community within ourselves, and we don't care about you, GovCo.
No, we'd be playing bocce with real silver balls.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So that's the next step, is the property land trusts. We've already got one going in the Gold Coast hinterland.
Wonderful.
Pretty much sold out. Maybe room for a few more if people really want. But that's the first one. We've had such an overwhelming demand that we're looking at another property just up the road, 200 acres on a river with fish.
Wonderful.
Once again, get 30 people together, buy that, set it up, tiny homes, which don't need the council approval. Got your own fruit and veg. Off we go. And we're just going to replicate that model again and again and again. So the fronts I'm working on, superannuation, getting it out of the system, the property trust, getting people onto land together, and then a new banking system.
So the financial industry must really hate you at the moment, because you're pulling the rug right out.
You saw what they did to our internet.
Yeah, exactly. And it could happen again yet, folks. So if we stop, it might be for the last time. Personal security, is that a thing for you?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So don't go into telling us what you do, but
I'm happy to do that. I had a calling during this whole thing, and what we see coming down the line. I'm a single mother of 4 children. They're much bigger than me, so they should be protecting me.
You'd think.
But I just didn't want to be in a position where I might get myself into trouble. So I started learning mixed martial arts, kickboxing, all sorts of martial arts in very different forms, personal training, 2 or 3 hours a week. For well over a year. Absolutely loving that. The guy reckons I could really do some damage. So I love that. Gun licenses in Canberra are very easy to get.
Okay. So you've availed yourself?
Funny story. I went into the gun shop and bought 3,000 bullets. And then I went in a few weeks later and bought another 3,000 bullets.
Right.
And then I went in a few weeks later and bought another 3,000 bullets.
Right.
And at that stage, they said to me, so how are the guns going, Catherine? I went, I don't know, I haven't shot them yet. So personal security, guard dogs.
Yeah.
And I have 10 teenagers that live at the house.
Oh, God, that's probably the best security of all. They never sleep.
They never sleep.
Well, when they do, it's in the middle of the early morning through till midday.
Yeah, so when I'm asleep, they're awake.
They're awake. It works well for you.
And when I'm awake, they're asleep.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've had to think of all those things, and and also it's an energetic thing. I also believe that I'm doing spiritual work here, and I believe I'm protected in that way as well.
Have you heard of others in the industry who've been threatened or hurt?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah. Badly?
Yeah. One beaten within an inch of his life.
Wow. Okay. So it's serious business, folks. I'm surprised to hear. Well, I'm not surprised to hear that, because I know from a mutual friend of ours and someone we all know and love that there have been other reports of that happening in Sydney, and I think in Melbourne as well. Somebody's been hit down there. So it is a serious concern. So when we talk about personal security, and I might make a few wisecracks out of it, but we do mean it. It's a serious business, and we take it seriously. So I can tell you that from our side, we're doing what we can to make sure that you've got an eye kept on you around here too.
Yeah, absolutely. I thank you so much for that, Carl, the extra security you've offered. Just another funny clip is if you look at the Freedom Financial Solutions website, which is Freedom FFS.
Freedom FFS.
Freedom FFS. If you look at that website,
That's just wonderful.
the 3 staff listed on there. The other staff don't want to be listed.
Fair enough.
For reasons.
Yep.
The three staff listed on that website. Quite funnily, the last line in all of our bio is that we've all done some sort of martial arts and we shoot guns.
There you go. You have been warned.
Yes.
Yeah, that's marvellous. Well, Cass, I think I don't want to keep you up any later than as we sort of screwed up the first part of the show a little bit and we've lost a bit. But if there's anything we haven't covered that you want to get out, is there anything else? Probably
the main thing is booking to see me. The new company we've set up, Freedom Financial Solutions, it's a non-profit.
Yep.
All profits are going back to the freedom movement.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Yeah. Yes.
So how will you decide who and where that goes to? Because I don't know if you've heard about it, folks. There's a bit of division in the freedom movement at the moment. Yeah. There's a few people fighting for. It's ridiculous. Well, there's just a few people fighting. We'll leave it at that.
It's ridiculous. If we can't come together, like what hope have we got? But anyway, leaving that aside.
I agree.
So I'll just decide on good causes that need some donations.
Yep.
So come to us. We offer a free consult. Like I offer a free consult, 15 minutes. You book in on our website, Freedom FFS. If you're interested in self-managed super fund, also just email us because I am now booked out for the next 2 weeks solid. I am now working till 7:00 every night, Saturdays, 30 clients a day.
Wow.
Talking all day long. I'm getting exhausted. But once again, it's a mission. So I'm running with it. I'm okay with it. But if you want to get a self-managed super fund, don't wait till you can speak to me. Email, we'll send you all the information you need, a video, documents on questions, everything you need to send in an order form, get started. And if you want to chat to me, by all means, just book in whenever you can.
Yep.
But don't wait to talk to me. Otherwise, I don't know how everybody's feeling, but everyone I'm talking to is thinking that something major's coming.
Absolutely. And there was I'll just say there was a meeting last night amongst a certain group of friends we all know and love. I don't think I'm telling any secrets if I say it was an A1 supporter meeting last night that I think Rick beamed into from somewhere. And it happened down in Victoria. Darren Bergworth was part of it. There was some very interesting conversations there. And, I would just say, folks, next 2 weeks is going to be very interesting.
Yeah, so don't wait to speak to me before you get an SMSF started. Email us on the contact box on our website, Freedom FFS. Email us, we'll send you the information, a video, links to information you can read, send us an order form, get started. And then I love chatting to people, like it's my mission and I don't get tired because I'm chatting to like-minded people and I'm loving it.
Yeah, I bet.
But you may not be able to talk to me for 2 weeks.
So you've only got about 4 car parks out there. Seeing 30 people a day must be hell. Oh, no, you do that online.
It's all online.
There you go.
There's not many Canberrans.
Not many Canberrans? No, I imagine
So
not.
It's all online.
Yeah. So that's the ease of it, folks. You don't have to turn up to Canberra. You can do all it just pretty much like we're doing this now. And email first. Get the details. Fill all that out. Don't wait for Cass to talk you into it. Yeah. This should have been enough for that. Move on it now. I know yesterday, I don't know about today, but I know people who turned into a place where they'd bought some silver yesterday, and they walked into a room where all the silver in the building was laid out in front of them. They said, that's all we've got. And there were a few 10-ounce bars, no 1-ounce ingots, a few coins, a couple of kilo bars, and that was about it. So sooner rather than later, stocks are being replenished, so we're told. So get into it because people are getting on board and walking out the door. I think I told some folks the other day, and I was going to tell you ladies before we got on air, but I'll tell you I've got 2 silver coins, and I thought I'm going to go and do the whole show. I want to see how this whole process works. So I ordered them. I didn't get them sent to me. I went to a place in Brisbane to collect them, gone through all the security, and I've got a fella standing with me. We're having a lovely chat. He was a bit surprised I was only getting 2, and then I sort of showed him a wallet and he understood. There was a lady in front of me who was piling these silver bars into a backpack, and when she went to lift it, she nearly pulled her shoulder out of a socket. And I innocently said,
Oh my God.
would you like me to carry that down to the car for you? I'm only picking up 2 coins. I've got plenty of extra lift capacity. And the look on her face, the look on the bloke beside me's face, everybody took a step back. And I'm like, I was just trying to be nice, you know. So the etiquette is do not offer to carry anybody's gold or silver
And-
out of the place they buy it from.
And be careful how
Don't do
much
that.
silver you order if you're picking it up. Take a little wheelie trolley, because I think I've mentioned before, I was ordering 85 kilo for some clients I was picking up for.
Yeah.
And I didn't even realize it was that much. And I forgot my wheelie trolley and I went with a backpack.
Oh, wow.
Luckily, I had a young fella with me. He managed to carry 50 kilo. I had 30 kilo on my back. And we're trying to be indiscreet, walking out of this building in the middle of Pitt Street, Sydney, trying to be indiscreet about what's on her back. I could hardly walk. And I was laughing so hard. Anyone looking at us must have gone, oh, what are these two up to? So be careful of the weight that you order.
Yep.
Have a mechanism to pick it up.
Yeah. 2 coins in both hands.
Yeah.
Really easy.
And as for the gold dealers, there are some dealers with still a lot of stock.
Yep.
So if I can just plug As Good as Gold,
Yep.
Ainsley Bullion.
Yep. where I went.
Gold Bullion Australia. Still a lot of stock at the moment, but yeah, you're right. There is a run. Like we're talking about a run on the banks, which will happen. There's a run on the gold dealers, so you get in.
Yep, get in quick. Yep, that's the best thing for all of us to be involved. And if you have questions, I can't read them at the moment because I've got the wrong glasses on. Hang on, let's see what I can find here. Can I go out on a limb and say, oh no, I've got to pre-read these things before I start calling them out.
There's one good one here. Does the self-managed super fund have a transition to retirement option?
Yes, absolutely. Good question. So self-managed super fund is just a type of superannuation fund. It has all the same rules, regulations and laws as the normal super funds, which is good because it means they can't shut down SMSF because it's just a type of superannuation. So yes, transition to retirement, pensions, withdrawals, contributions, all the rules are the same. And our firm, or Holistic, is the accountant that will help with that. They'll talk through everybody through the rules.
So question here from Crushid. Did you hear about what the WEF lady said about digital currency? Said it was going to be the future and government needs to be regulated. So this probably goes back to our chat about Bitcoin earlier and digital currencies. Bitcoin aside, we are hearing a lot of talk about digital ID and digital currency. What can you tell us about that?
It's where they're going. They've planned this for many, many, many years. In America, they're planning to bring it in December. It's all heading down that track. And like digital currency in itself isn't a problem.
No.
The problem is when they make it programmable so that they decide what you can buy and what you can't buy.
Yeah.
And then if they make it programmable to the extent where if you don't comply, they can shut you down. But don't worry about that, folks, because we will have our own system by then.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Somebody's saying here, having to set up a digital ID to start an SMS. Oh, you know what I'm trying to say.
SMSF.
Yeah. What's the truth to that?
Yeah. So a lot of people say that, and I come back and say it's not a digital ID. It's a director's ID, which is just like an ABN or a TFN. When I got my director's ID, I had to supply my driver's license and my passport. They already know that.
Yeah, they've already got it.
They've already got it. So you're not risking anything more. If you're really, really concerned about it, we can set an SMSF up with personal trustees so that there's not the company involved. So not a problem. Either which way, we can sort you out. I had another question on there about there are cheaper, like we charge $2,200 to set up an SMSF.
Oh, there was a question about you. Did I scroll past
Yep.
that somewhere?
No, $2,200 to set up. It comes out of the super, not out of your own pocket. It's about $2,000 to $3,000 a year to run out of the super, not out of your own pocket.
You did say that. Oh, there it is there. So you did say that the fees are quite high if you're, $100,000 or less. That's in not in self-managed, in financial planning terms, in the normal way of things.
So it's high in terms of if you've got a small fund, then that's a high percentage.
Yep.
So what I was just going to say is, the fees about $2,500 a year to run, absolutely, and we have no bones about saying that.
Yeah.
What we can say is that if you have more than about 200,000, That's actually a cheaper fee than you're currently paying to your other super funds.
Yep.
And a lot of people don't know that. There are cheaper ones, and ones mentioned on screen. There are cheaper ones on the market, and go to them if you want. But everyone I know that has gone to them has ended up coming to us because they do a really cheap job for a reason, and they don't help you with any questions. They don't answer anything. They basically set it up for you, and then you have to do everything yourself.
And that's a
Whereas-
pitfall, I would imagine.
Absolutely. It's very, very complicated.
Yeah,
The super
yeah.
rules are complicated. On the reverse, we charge slightly more, but we'll answer all your questions. We basically do everything you need to be compliant and make sure you don't run foul of the rules.
Yep.
Yep. So we have no problems with how much we charge. And as I said, if you've got more than 200,000, it can be cheaper than what you're currently paying in your existing funds.
Yep.
I wanted to say another thing just come to mind. Another reason to get out of the superannuation system, and I'm really going to start getting myself in trouble here. The government has come out and said that they want to actively somehow legislate, maybe force superannuation funds to be involved in building sustainable housing.
Yes.
Read Smart City.
Yep. Yep.
So anyone who doesn't want their superannuation used to build a smart city, get it out.
Yep. Yep. So there's Brett said, get your accountant to look into it. It's way cheaper and easier than paying 2K to someone. Yep, that's pretty fair. And look, surely you don't begrudge people. There is a business to run. There is a boardroom that requires seats around it, infrastructure that has to go into this. I mean, you're not sitting up there doing it for nothing, and you're not magicking it out of thin air. You need computers, you need phones, you need internet, you need everything. So to say, it costs.
So to give you an example, we set up Freedom Financial Solutions only probably about 6 weeks ago now, and I've sunk 100,000 into it.
Wow.
And it's non-profit.
Yeah.
And I'm giving those profits back to the freedom fighting movement. So we're not in this for a business. That cost, as I said, it's cheaper than your existing super fund.
Yeah.
And then we're going to give profits back to the freedom movement. I mean, what more couldn't you want?
And once you're in that, folks, in a little while, we might be able to hear about a People's Bank.
Yeah, People's Bank.
And access to that sort of facility.
Community land.
Yeah. I mean, it's just layering up. That's exactly what we need. Our own system. Think you can't be applauded loud enough. That's wonderful. And any lady with 3 weapons and 10,000 odd rounds of ammunition, I am prepared to offer you my hand in marriage if you're interested.
I already said no.
Yeah, I know. I thought I'd try it again publicly. You never know. I thought you might back down.
You're not down on your knees.
Oh, no, I'm short enough. I thought that was enough. All right, folks. I think we'll leave it there for tonight, unless you've got anything else, Cass, that you want to mention particularly.
No, I think we're all good. Just hang in there, everybody. We're getting there.
Yeah,
we're gonna make our own
yeah,
system.
Yeah, absolutely. So, folks, I'm just in Canberra tonight, and we're on our way to Victoria. So too is a shitload of water. So we may not get to Victoria yet. There is emergency messages for all sorts of rivers, valleys and creeks in Victoria. If you're in Victoria tonight, particularly in the north or the northeastern parts of the state, we're thinking of you. Rochester, I believe, is going underwater at the moment. That water is only going to come further south. I think Seymour is expected to go under tonight at some stage. I'm not sure if the Hume is going to flood or be cut. There is every chance it will be. From memory, it's been a long time since I've been on it. I did work in Wangaratta years ago, and when the floods came through there, the Ovens and King rivers are peaking through there tonight, so no doubt there'll be certain portions of Wangaratta that get pretty wet, and that's only going to travel further south. Lake Eildon is bulging and, better than bulging, overflowing. The opportunity might present itself for us to stop at the Hume Dam tomorrow. I'll do a live from there if that happens, just to show you the power of the water that's going over the wall there. And we all know where that's heading, further downstream. So I believe that Shepparton is difficult to get to at the moment. I believe the Goulburn Valley Highway is blocked. That's all to do with the Goulburn River. The Campaspe River is also flooding. So we'll see how we go getting into Victoria. Our show is Saturday afternoon at South Morang, so we've got a little bit of time. But given that the water is pouring down out of the mountains and does tend to flow, take a few days to get there, we'll just see what happens. So we'll keep you in touch with what goes on there. Darren Berwick is going to join us at that show in South Morang on Saturday. Tomorrow night, who knows where we're going to be. We might be in Victoria. We might be on the border. I've got a mate who I haven't seen in 20 years. He lives in Albury. He might be getting a phone call. We'll see what happens. Anyway, folks, thanks for joining us again tonight. I hope you've enjoyed the chat with Cass. And Cass, thank you very much. The website again, Freedom FFS. Freedom FFS. It just makes me smile every time I think of it. Thanks for having us in your boardroom. Really appreciate it. And I'll see if you can go back and try and get your internet back again.
Hope you haven't shut us down, Gus.
Well, they've certainly identified you as one of us.
Yeah, they already have.
That's the girl. Well, you can fight for yourself. And I just bring the galactic larrikins. They have other uses. Fighting isn't one of them. Good on you, folks. Talk to you again tomorrow from somewhere around the Hume Weir, I hope. And if you are in Victoria, thoughts are with you. It's going to be a very wet night. And if you're, if it looks like you're going under, then, you know, our thoughts are with you. Put everything up as high as you can. Put your floaties on. And we'll be telling your story over the next weeks, I'm sure. So our thoughts are with you tonight. Thanks for joining us, folks. Have a great one. And talk to you again tomorrow night. It's going to be good.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up.
Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life.
It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back.
Does anybody else want to stay?
Let's rock!